First, let's see how to attach lenses. Make sure that the power is turned off. When attaching a lens, align the mounting mark on the lens with the corresponding mark on the camera body. Then rotate the lens counterclockwise until it clicks into place. To remove a lens, first hold down the lens release button on the front of the camera. Then turn the lens clockwise as far as it goes and pull the lens slowly away from the camera. Use a quick charger to charge the battery included with the camera. When a battery is inserted into the quick charger, charging starts and the charge lamp will blink. The battery is fully charged when the charge lamp stops blinking and remains lit. It takes about 2 hours to recharge a battery that contains no charge. Make sure that the power is turned off before inserting a battery into the camera. The battery chamber cover is on the bottom of the camera. Make sure the battery is going in the right way. Push it in and close the cover. For shooting, check the remaining battery level and charge the battery before it is exhausted. You can monitor the remaining battery power level on the viewfinder or control panel. When the battery indicator on the viewfinder is lit up, prepare a fully charged spare battery. Pay attention to the battery indicator, because if it flashes, you cannot take more pictures. Before the shooting, set the time and date of the internal clock. When you turn the camera on for the very first time, the date menu will be displayed on the LCD monitor. If the date is not set, the clock battery indicator will flash on the control panel. Press the multi-selector up or down to select the current year. Press the multi-selector to the right to set the month, day, and time. When all settings are set, press the Enter button to save the settings. A secure digital memory card, sold separately, is needed to store pictures. Make sure that the camera power is turned off and open the memory card slot cover. Make sure the card is going in the right way and slowly insert it until it clicks into place. Close the cover after you see the access lamp light up. Turn the power on and check the battery power and the number of exposures remaining. If there is no space left in memory, a full message will appear in the control panel and on the display at the bottom of the viewfinder, and the number of exposures remaining will be 0. In this case, delete unwanted images or format the memory card. If the card contains data that you want to keep, save it to a computer or other device before formatting the card. To format a memory card that has been used, after confirming that the camera power is turned off, insert the card, and when the access lamp lights up, press the menu button to open the menu. Use the multi-selector to switch to the setup menu and select Format. Select Yes and press the Enter button to complete formatting. Before you remove the memory card, make sure that the power is turned off. If there is no memory card inserted in the camera, an E appears on the control panel and viewfinder displays that usually indicate number of exposures remaining. Also, a no memory card warning flashes in the viewfinder. Adjust the diopter of the viewfinder. Slide the diopter adjustment control next to the viewfinder up and down until you see the clearest focus brackets through the viewfinder. Now, preparations are complete. With the auto shooting mode, you can take pictures easily, leaving all your cares about shooting conditions to the camera. Let's try the basics of shooting with the D50 by using the auto mode. When you turn the camera on, check the remaining battery power level and remaining number of exposures on the control panel. Next, turn the shooting mode dial on the top of the camera to auto. Rotate the focus mode selector on the side of the camera to AF. Set the lens AM mode switch to A. This completes the settings for auto mode shooting. Get the knack of holding the camera to reduce blurring and other shooting error. Securely hold the grip with your right hand. Hold the lens zoom ring with your left hand and lightly close your arms. Put one leg forward like this to stabilize your body. To focus the lens, first look into the viewfinder to frame the picture. Make sure that at least one of the 5 focus areas covers the subject. Adjust magnification of the subject using the zoom ring. Turn the zoom ring towards the wide-angle end to increase the area visible in the frame. And turn the zoom ring towards the telephoto end to make the subject fill more of the frame. When you have framed the picture, press the shutter release button only to the point where you feel light resistance and stop there. In other words, press the shutter release button halfway. When the shutter release button is pressed halfway, the camera will automatically focus on the closest subject in the focus area. An electronic sound and a focus indicator at the bottom of the viewfinder turn on when the subject comes into focus. When the shutter release button is pressed, the number of shots remaining before the memory buffer fills up is shown on the control panel and viewfinder. If you want to focus on a subject's eyes, first frame the eyes in the focus area in the center and press the shutter release button halfway. Focus is fixed while the shutter release button is pressed halfway. This is called focus lock. Adjust the composition while keeping the focus locked. Then press the shutter release button the rest of the way down. Now you can take photographs focused on a model's eyes. The image is stored in the memory card and displayed on the LCD monitor on the back of the camera. If the LCD monitor is turned off, press the playback button to display your most recent picture on the screen. To view other pictures on the LCD monitor, press the multi-selector to the right or left, or rotate the command dial. To enlarge an image, press the Enter button while the image is displayed on the screen. To enlarge further, press the thumbnail button to display a red frame. Then rotate the command dial to change the size of the red frame and move the frame to where you want to zoom in by using the multi-selector. Release the thumbnail button and the portion in the red frame is enlarged. In this image, the subject's eyes are closed. You can delete the unwanted image by pressing the Delete button. To resume shooting pictures, press the shutter release button halfway or press the playback button. In auto mode, when the subject is dark or backlit, press the shutter release button halfway and the built-in flash pops up automatically. When the flash ready indicator at the bottom of the viewfinder turns on, the built-in flash is ready to fire. If the flash ready indicator is not on, you cannot take the shot. If you don't want to use the flash, keep pressing the flash sync mode button next to the built-in flash and select flash cancel in the flash sync mode by rotating the command dial. When using the self-timer mode, secure the camera on a tripod or another stable base. Press the self-timer button on the side of the shutter release button to show the icon on the control panel. The self-timer button cycles through modes in the order from self-timer to delayed remote to quick response remote. Each press of the self-timer button gets the camera into the next mode of this rotation. Here the camera is set to 10-second self-timer. Attach the eyepiece cap, which comes with the camera. This prevents undesirable light from entering, which could result in incorrect exposure. Press the shutter release button halfway to focus, and then press it the rest of the way down. When the timer starts, the AF assist lamp starts blinking, and the photograph will be taken 10 seconds later. The AF assist lamp will stop blinking and stay steadily lit for 2 seconds right before the camera takes the shot. The D50 offers 6 digital vari-program modes, and the camera automatically provides the optimal settings for each different situation. Portrait mode takes more beautiful pictures of people, helping skin look smooth and natural. Rotate the mode dial to Portrait. Using the portrait mode makes the subject stand out clearly while background details are softened, lending the composition a sense of depth. Landscape mode takes vividly colored pictures of natural landscapes, cityscapes, night views, and other scenes. Rotate the mode dial to Landscape. Use a wide-angle lens to enhance depth and breadth of wide-angle shots. Landscape mode helps capture a magnificent landscape in a sharp, vivid picture. Child mode expresses skin tones beautifully and brings out the intensity of colors of clothing and backgrounds. Rotate the mode dial to Child. The expressions of lively children have been captured. Sports mode captures the action of quick-moving subjects clearly. Rotate the mode dial to Sports. While the shutter release button is pressed halfway, the camera maintains sharp focus, even as subjects move around. Great for pictures that look full of energy. Close-up mode is great for taking close-up shots of small subjects, such as flowers and insects. Rotate the mode dial to Close-up. Use of a macro lens enhances the results of close-up shooting. Since the subject is small, be careful not to shake the camera or lose focus. Use a tripod as much as possible in such cases. Night portrait mode is great for taking pictures of people against a sunset or nighttime view. Rotate the mode dial to Night Portrait. This mode combines the flash and slow shutter speed, so people in the foreground and night landscape in the background are captured beautifully. Night portrait shooting tends to be affected by camera shake, so use a tripod as much as you can when using this mode. The D50 has a continuous shooting mode that takes up to 2.5 frames a second. It's easy to switch between single frame shooting mode for taking one frame every time the shutter release button is pressed, and continuous shooting mode for recording pictures continuously. Just press this shooting mode button and rotate the command dial at the same time. The shooting mode on the control panel changes. Let's take continuous shots of a child. When the shutter release button is pressed either halfway or all the way, the number of frames remaining that can be taken using continuous shooting appears in the control panel and at the bottom of the viewfinder. Continuous shooting mode captures the lively child's actions. The D50 offers 4 exposure modes: Programmed Auto, Shutter Priority Auto, Aperture Priority Auto, and Manual. According to shooting intention, you can set shutter speed and aperture independently, or leave these settings to the camera. Adjusting exposure means adjusting shutter speed and aperture to take pictures that achieve intended brightness levels. Even images shot using the same exposure may differ in their levels of motion blurring or background softening, according to the combinations of shutter speed and aperture settings used. In Programmed Auto mode, the camera automatically adjusts the shutter speed and aperture for the best exposure, according to the brightness of the subject. This is suitable for taking snapshots when you don't want to miss perfect moments. To take pictures in Programmed Auto, set the mode dial to P. Frame the picture, focus, and shoot. Also, if you rotate the command dial while shooting in Programmed Auto, you can change the shutter speed and aperture combination while maintaining the same exposure. This is called Flexible Program. During Flexible Program operation, the Flexible Program indicator stays lit in the control panel. To cancel Flexible Program, rotate the command dial until the Flexible Program indicator turns off. For this picture, the aperture is open to create a blurry effect in the background. In Shutter Priority Auto mode, the user controls the shutter speed, and the camera automatically selects the aperture for best exposure. This is suitable for taking photographs of fast-moving subjects, and to highlight subject movement using slow shutter speeds. To take pictures in Shutter Priority Auto, set the mode dial to S. If you rotate the command dial, the shutter speed indicator on the control panel and in the display at the bottom of the viewfinder will change to the desired level within a range from 30 seconds to 1/4000th of a second. Select a shutter speed according to the desired effect for the photograph. Frame the picture, focus, and shoot. Use of a high shutter speed for this picture freezes the subject's movement. In Aperture Priority Auto mode, the user controls the aperture opening, and the camera automatically selects the shutter speed for best exposure. If you close the aperture, you can bring everything into focus within a deep range, from close-up to distant areas. If you open the aperture, you can adjust how blurry the background will be. To take pictures in Aperture Priority Auto, set the mode dial to A. If you rotate the command dial, the aperture value changes. This value is expressed as a number on the control panel and in the display at the bottom of the viewfinder. Select the aperture opening according to how you want the photograph to look. See the difference in background blurriness depending on the aperture value? In manual mode, the user freely controls both the shutter speed and the aperture. When it's difficult to achieve appropriate exposure, adjust the shutter speed and the aperture while checking the exposure indicator at the bottom of the viewfinder, then take your shot. Use the command dial to control shutter speed. Select the shutter speed you want to use, and the exposure indicator changes. To control the aperture, rotate the command dial while keeping the exposure compensation button pressed down. When the exposure indicator shows 0, you get optimal exposure. Or you can set exposure differently, to your liking. Here's a nice shot of rays of sunshine filtering through tree branches. Rotate the mode dial to Auto. You can select the specific focusing point from among 5 focus areas, according to your shooting intention. Press the menu button and use the multi-selector to set AF area mode on the custom settings to single area. Look in the viewfinder and use the multi-selector to move to the focus area of your choice. The selected focus area is highlighted in the viewfinder by pressing the shutter release button halfway. It's also shown in the control panel and in the display at the bottom of the viewfinder. When using autofocus, you can determine how the camera selects a focus area. Turn the camera's focus mode selector to AF first. And if there is an AM switch on the lens, turn it to A. Single area in the AF area mode automatically selects a focus area and uses that area only to focus the camera, so it's suitable for taking pictures of still subjects. When the shooting mode is set to Portrait, AF area mode is set to closest subject in the default setting, so change it to Single Area. Press the menu button and select Custom Settings by using the multi-selector. Set AF area mode on the custom settings to Single Area. Cover the targeted subject with a selected focus area. Then press the shutter release button halfway to focus on the subject. Now you can take a photograph focused on the model's eyes. In Dynamic Area in the AF area mode, if the subject that moves unpredictably leaves the selected focus area even briefly. The camera will focus based on information from other focus areas. Let's take a picture of a moving squirrel monkey in P shooting mode. Press the menu button and use the multi-selector to select custom settings. Set the AF area mode to Dynamic Area. The squirrel monkey moving around in the trees is captured in the shot. In Closest Subject in the AF area mode, the camera automatically recognizes the closest subject and focuses using a focus area that contains the subject. Let's use the Child shooting mode. AF area mode for child is set to closest subject in the default setting. Let's check. Press the menu button and use the multi-selector to select custom settings. AF area mode is set to closest subject. You can take a vivid shot of a child approaching the camera. The D50 offers 3 options for autofocus mode. Autofocus mode can be selected when the mode dial is set to P, S, A, or M. Turn the camera's focus mode selector to AF first. And if there is an AM switch on the lens, turn it to A. AF-S mode is suitable for taking pictures of still subjects. Set the mode dial to P, then set the autofocus to AF-S. Press the menu button and use the multi-selector to select custom settings. Set the autofocus to AF-S. When the shutter release button is pressed halfway, focus is locked when the subject comes into focus. Then, when the focus indicator turns on in the display at the bottom of the viewfinder, you can press the shutter release button the rest of the way. A beautiful portrait was taken with flowers in the background by using AF-S mode. AF-C mode is suitable for taking pictures of moving subjects. Set the mode dial to P, then set the autofocus to AF-C. Press the menu button and use the multi-selector to select custom settings. Set the autofocus to AF-C. Focus will not be locked, even when the shutter release button is pressed halfway. Instead, the camera continues focusing. With AF-C mode, the moment is captured in a lively shot. In AF-A mode, the camera automatically switches between AF-S and AF-C. Set the mode dial to P, then check that autofocus is set to AF-A. Press the menu button and use the multi-selector to select custom settings. You will find that the autofocus is set to AFA. If the subject starts moving, the AF mode switches from AFS to AFC. AFA mode allows you to capture the lively expression of the moving subject. Image quality mode is used to set the compression rate of an image to be stored. Compare images stored in the high-quality JPEG Fine mode and the low-quality JPEG Basic mode. The difference is obvious. Also, regarding image size, the greater the size of the perspective print, the finer the image should be. Higher quality images produce beautiful large prints, but the number of such frames that can be recorded on a memory card is limited. So, image quality and size should be selected according to how the picture will be used. Change the image quality mode. It's set to JPEG Normal in the default setting. There are two ways to set image quality. Press the menu button and use the multi-selector to select the shooting menu. This allows you to change image quality mode. There are 5 basic quality mode formats: JPEG Basic, JPEG Normal, JPEG Fine, RAW, and RAW and Basic that records RAW and JPEG Basic at the same time. Also, when the LCD monitor is turned off, if you press the Enter button and rotate the command dial at the same time, you can change the image quality and size. Change image size. It is set to large in the default setting. There are 2 ways to set the image size. Press the menu button and use the multi-selector to select the shooting menu. This allows you to change the image size. There are 3 choices of image size: large, medium, and small. Also, when the LCD monitor is turned off, if you press the Enter button and rotate the command dial at the same time, you can change the image quality and size. If you take a photograph in a dark place, the shutter speed should be slow. Such images tend to be affected by camera shake. However, if you set sensitivity higher, the shutter speed will be faster, and the image will be less affected by camera shake. Sensitivity can be set when the shooting mode is in P, S, A, or M. When the shooting mode is set to other than P, S, A, or M, press the menu button and go to the Setup menu, and use the multi-selector to select Detailed for CSM Setup menu. From the custom settings, set ISO control to off. Next, use the multi-selector to select the shooting menu. This allows you to change the sensitivity value. ISO sensitivity can be set to values between ISO 200 and ISO 1600 equivalent. Also, when the LCD monitor is turned off, if you press the thumbnail button and rotate the command dial at the same time, you can change the ISO sensitivity. Generally, the higher the ISO sensitivity, the faster the shutter speed you can use. Images shot using such high-level ISO and shutter speed settings, however, may appear grainy. Let's compare pictures of a subject in the shade of a tree. They were shot using different ISO sensitivities. Optimize Image menu allows you to control sharpening, contrast, saturation, and hue of the image to be recorded according to shooting situation and personal preference. Optimize Image menu can be set when the shooting mode is in P, S, A, or M. Press the menu button and use the multi-selector to select the shooting menu. This allows you to choose among 8 different finish settings. Normal, Vivid, Sharper, Softer, Direct Print, Portrait, Landscape, and Custom. The Vivid finish setting enhances saturation, contrast, and sharpness to produce vivid images with vibrant reds, greens, and blues. Beautifully colored clothes appear just as the setting describes. Vivid. The Sharper finish setting emphasizes the outline of the subject and increases overall image sharpness. Shisa, a lion figure, has been captured with a highlighted outline. The Softer finish setting softens the outlines of the subject. This effect is useful when taking pictures that will be edited later on a computer. The softness of a flower is expressed perfectly. The Portrait finish setting lowers contrast while lending natural texture and a well-rounded look to the skin of portrait subjects. The beauty and softness of the subject's skin has been fully expressed. The Landscape finish setting enhances saturation and sharpness to accentuate the verdant greenery and blue of the sky and landscapes. You can take bright, beautiful landscape pictures. Let's take a portrait in a location with strong direct light. The subject's skin looks blown out or overexposed. Blown out highlights refer to certain areas that come out looking completely white due to an absence of image information. You cannot compensate for blown out highlights in a picture after the photo is taken. To check if there are any blown out highlights in an image you just took, press the playback button to display the image. In single image playback mode, press the multi-selector down twice to select highlights. Areas flashing white and black in the photograph indicate blown out highlights. If blown out highlights are visible, try using exposure compensation on the image. Exposure compensation lets you deliberately stray from the camera's automatically set exposure level to brighten or darken the entire image. Exposure compensation can be selected when the shooting mode is in P, S, or A. If you press the exposure compensation button and rotate the command dial at the same time, you can change the exposure compensation value. Turn exposure compensation towards the positive direction to brighten the image and towards the negative direction to darken it. To reduce blown out highlights, this image was taken with exposure compensation turned towards the negative side. Bracketing is convenient in shooting situations where it's difficult to compensate for exposure because the contrast level between brightness and darkness is high. With bracketing, every time the shutter release button is pressed, the camera takes 3 consecutive frames of a photograph at different exposures and flash levels. Bracketing can be set when the shooting mode is in P, S, A, or M. 3 consecutive pictures are taken with standard, negative, and positive exposure, respectively, so you can choose the best of the different exposures. Let's take a picture with Programmed Auto Mode. Go to the Setup menu and use the multi-selector to select CSM Setup menu. After checking that Detailed has been selected, press the menu button and use the multi-selector to select BKT Set. Select AE and Flash and set the compensation value. On the control panel, the exposure compensation indicator blinks and the bracketing indicator stays lit. In the display at the bottom of the viewfinder, the exposure compensation indicator blinks. Press the shutter release button halfway, then press it the rest of the way to take a series of 3 photographs. During shooting, the bracketing progress indicator on the control panel changes like this for each shot. This sequence of 3 pictures is stored in the order from no compensation to negative compensation to positive compensation. To cancel bracketing and return to regular shooting mode, use the multi-selector to choose the custom settings from the menu and turn off BKT Set. You can check the histogram display for appropriate exposure. First, press the playback button to open the image you want to check on the LCD monitor. In single image playback mode, press the multi-selector down to select histogram. A histogram shows information for each brightness level in an image. Information for pure black is indicated at the far left, and the histogram gets progressively brighter up to the far right, indicating information for pure white. The higher a graph bar extends, the more information there is at that level. Let's examine an image taken with positive exposure compensation. Look at the histogram of this image. This histogram is higher on the right, which means this image has many blown out highlights. Press multi-selector down to display highlights, and you will find that the area of the subject's face has been blown out. Look at the highlights of the image with negative exposure compensation. No part of the picture is blown out. Then, check the histogram of this image. The entire histogram moves towards the left. You can use a histogram as a standard reference to check for appropriate exposure. "11 flash sync modes are available for use of the built-in flash, according to shooting conditions or creative intentions. When the shooting mode is set to Auto, the built-in flash will automatically pop up and fire as needed for such cases as when the subject is too dark or backlit. This is the Auto Flash mode. Or when flash is prohibited, or you want to shoot for a natural look using available light, you can set the flash to off. The flash sync modes available depend on the shooting mode currently selected. When the shooting mode is set to Auto, press the Flash Sync Mode button and rotate the command dial at the same time. Then the Flash Sync mode will cycle among Auto Flash, Flash Off, and Red Eye Reduction. Let's take pictures using Auto Flash mode and Flash Off mode. When the shooting mode is set to P or A, in addition to the Fill Flash mode, other available modes include Rear Curtain and Slow Sync mode that creates a natural flow of the light, Slow Sync mode convenient for shooting against a night landscape background, and Slow Sync and Red Eye Reduction mode, which beautifully captures both the portrait subject and night landscape. use of flash in the daytime can create nice effects. For example, the flash is useful when the portrait is backlit like this. When you want to use flash in daytime or other bright shooting conditions, set the shooting mode to P or A. Then press the Flash Sync Mode button and make the built-in flash pop up. Press the Flash Sync Mode button and rotate the command dial at the same time to select the Fill Flash from the Flash Sync modes. Now you can fire the flash even in bright conditions. The flash illumination eliminates the dark shadow on the subject's face. You can connect the D50 to a television to look at the pictures on a TV screen. Press the menu button and use the multi-selector to select the setup menu. Confirm that video mode is set to NTSC. It should be set to PAL if that image standard applies to your region. Next, turn the camera off and use the provided video cable to connect the camera and the TV. Tune the television to the video channel. Turn the camera on. Now, you can enjoy digital images on a big TV screen.